Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everyone today? Well, we had a big one last night, Philadelphia. I don't know if you trapped it or not, but you get an idea of the trap. Even if you didn't, you could still see what was going on. So at 17-7, Kansas City, you're going, yeah, this trap looks good. 17-14, I win. Then Kelsey fumbles, or they would have went back on top. And he fumbles at the goal line. There was an interception in the end zone. So easily, KC could have won by 3. And you would have trapped it. But this is why once you get the first end of the teaser in, and now we're sitting there with Philly an 8.5, you've got it. I mean, that's the odds of winning that one are very strong. And then it's just to hedge the Kansas City part of it. So if you want to just relax the pressure of winning the teaser, you can do that, or you can just say, no, I did not trap it. I just stuck with Philadelphia. I had such a big week that I just stuck with Philadelphia. Excuse me. Just home from swim. I stopped at the grocery store. As it is Thanksgiving, so I didn't know what to get. I was debating. I can't have a turkey. It's 10, 12 pounds for me. I didn't want to wait 3 hours to cook it. So I got a roast. The New York strips were on sale. I got 2 New York strips. I got some ribs. And I have a salmon steak that I had bought last week. I'm going to make for dinner tonight. And then I got my pumpkin pie. So it's an 8-inch pumpkin pie. So it's like the strategy's got to be to make it last 4 days. You can have one piece, get some sugar, do your fasting, and then maybe, so if you can have one piece Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, instead of eating the whole pie Thursday, you're way ahead of the game. Now I know there's sugar in it. I get all that, but it's a holiday. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself. See, it's these one-offs you can have. You can have the pumpkin pie, but you're going to go on a 48-hour fast to clean it up the mess. So if like you spill something or you break something, you clean it up. That's all this is. So it's not like you can never have a piece of pie or a piece of cake, never have chips, never have a bagel. It's all fine once in a while. I had some ice cream a couple of days ago. I won't eat. This pie is not till Thursday. Today's Tuesday. I won't eat anything bad today, tomorrow. And then Thursday, I think I'll do the show at like 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And then we'll watch the game. So a big win last night. I was 9-1 this week. I was 9-2. My only loser was the damn Cincinnati, Joe Burrow getting hurt. It was a good bet. You can't help when your star quarterback gets hurt. And then the Miami over, that if Oakland scored at the end, I mean, Miami went for it at the 5-yard line on 4th and 1. Stupidest play I've ever seen. He throws a pass outside. Here's my problem with Tagliabue. Okay, you want to go for it on 4th and 1. And you throw, the play's called a little screen to the wide receiver. You got to look at the defense. That play was not there. Evidenced by he didn't make it. He threw it, and there's 3 guys in his face. You've got to be able to get out of that play into, if there's 3 guys out there, then why aren't you running the ball? Now, Tagliabue's problem is he can't run. He's not going to run, so that whole Jalen Hurts, Lamar thing is off the table. To only get 20 on Oakland was ridiculous. You'll watch KC put up a bigger number this week. So that should if that goes to 40, I win. I'm at 40. So everything else hits. I think winning the Detroit game has given me okay, it reset me now. Everything's gone. Denver hits, Philly hits, the Rams, Seattle hits as the dog, Dallas hits, Frisco hits, everybody's hitting. Now we get to this week's. Let's go through the line. So we've got 3 games Thursday, a game Friday. Now, what I can't believe, what I'm hearing, what I'm hearing is they're actually the Jets are actually starting Boyle. Now, Boyle played for the Lions last year, and he sucked. He's a third stringer at best. So the Jets are going to blame Zach Wilson because they got the worst offensive coordinator in the world, and they're going with Boyle. Boyle's no picnic either, so I don't buy that. Look at these quarterbacks this week. Holy fuck. Let's go through the line. And then we'll go through tonight's games. And all right, we got Detroit 7.5, 46.5, up from 45.5. We've got Dallas 10.5, 48.5, didn't move. We got Frisco 7, 43.5, moved up from 6.5, no big deal. In Teaser World, Miami 9.5, 41. This is because Boyle is your starting quarterback. We've got Jacksonville 1.5, 47.5 against Houston. We've got Indy 2.5, 43.5 against Tampa. Line goes up from 1.5. We got New England favored over anybody is ridiculous. 3.5, 33.5 to the Giants. Would you be surprised if the Giants won? They just beat Washington. I would, but I'd be surprised if New England won. Hey, Greg John. Yeah, that's the good question. He played on the Lions. He was a third stringer on the Lions last year. They cut him. He sucked. I don't know where they find him, but there's Kyle Trask from Florida sitting on Tampa Bay's backup. There's Greer, played at Florida, went to West Virginia, who lights it up, and you go with this guy. Okay. Tennessee 4-37 to Carolina, who sucks. They both suck. Pittsburgh 1.5, 34.5. Pickett against, I don't know the Cincinnati quarterback. I mean, well, I never heard of the guy. Atlanta 1.5, 42.5 to New Orleans. Heineken against Carr. I don't mind New Orleans here. Again, Arizona 1.5, 44.5 to the Ram. What's wrong with that pitcher? Why are the Rams the dog? We'll check injuries, but it's not till Sunday. But we don't want to wait for the line to go back to the Rams. Denver 2.5, up from 1.5. 30. This is why you bet the games early. I like Denver at 4.5. Now it's 3.5. I still like them over a field goal, but again, why did you put out a 1.5 and now it's Monday? It's Tuesday. It's already 2.5. Philadelphia 3.5, 48 against Buffalo, hasn't moved. It's a very I liked Philly as the dog yesterday. Right? I don't know that I like Buffalo as the dog. Versus Philly. I don't know that the Madoffs can be stopped by Buffalo. I don't think their defense is that good. Kansas City 9.5, 43.5. And now they're off of a loss. And I got to check the standings, but I think like Oakland's now a game back. Oakland's been, no, they lost to Miami. They're a few games back. San Diego and Denver's catching them quickly. But now Casey's off of a loss. This will be interesting. Did I make this is your free pick? Yes. So the free pick is the under on this game, even before what happened yesterday. Oakland with O'Connell, he's not. They're going to get shut out. And KC, I don't know how much they're going to score. Their offense sucks. They can't catch a ball. Mahomes is fine in the running, and their defense is very strong. So this is definitely an under game. Baltimore 3.5, 46.5 over San Diego. Okay. And Minnesota 3.5, 43.5 against Chicago. Interesting. Let's look at the injuries to the pros. Well, it's hard now. We'll just look at Thursday's injuries because you don't really know on Sunday, but it's Tuesday for Thursday games. They should have pretty good idea of who's playing Thursday. So let's see. Green Bay, Detroit. So let's go to Detroit first. We'll go in order. Buffalo, Carolina. The Bears, Cincinnati. Cleveland. Dallas. Okay, Dallas is playing. CD Lamb, we know, is questionable. Let's see. Nothing new. So they're pretty healthy. Denver's later in the week. Pretty good. Detroit. This guard, questionable. Yeah, guards. So 2 guards are hurt. But they didn't have problems scoring. They just don't have a defense. So nobody big out. Green Bay, who we play. Couple of tight ends, questionable wide receiver. Aaron Jones, questionable with the knee, which I don't understand. He left the game with the knee. His knee's going to be better in 4 days. And that's it. So really, they're pretty healthy, but Josh Love's their quarterback. Good luck with that mess. All right, let's go to – we got Miami and the Jets. KC's pretty healthy as I walk through them. San Diego. Bosa's day-to-day with a foot. The Rams, what's going on here? Nothing. Cooper Kupp day-to-day with an ankle. Big deal. He'll play. Williams, the running back, is probable. And nothing else. I don't know why they're the dog. Oakland, nothing really. Miami's got the Jets, so let's look at Miami. Nothing really. Minnesota holiday today. The Giants, would we know if anybody's injured? The only one we'd know would be Shaquan Barkley, which she's not listed. The Jets just have too many offensive tackle issues. Terrible alignment. Philly, nothing major there. It's okay. San Francisco, okay, they play Seattle. Ray McLeod, questionable with ribs. That's about it. Seattle. Geno Smith, questionable with an elbow. And they're only 7-point dogs. Let's see. Kenneth Walker, questionable with an oblique. Kenny McIntosh, questionable with the knee. They're pretty healthy except for Geno Smith. But if he's questionable with an elbow, I'm sure he'll play. And that's it. Oh, the Jets that I kind of glanced over them. The Jets, tackle early, 2 linebackers questionable, another tackle questionable, wide receiver Randall Cobb questionable. Yeah, we're not, these questionables don't really help us. Yeah, so really their linemen are hurt anyway. They can't protect, although Miami's not exactly the team that you worry about. So of that, really, there's not much of injury. Oh, we got to go to Washington. Like, we're going to know anybody on Washington, even if we see him. We don't know if he plays or not. D. Harris, the linebacker. Who gives a shit? Forbes, Burton, and Gibson, and Armand. I have no idea. Nobody that we've ever heard of. Why are Miami just same reason they go play the games in London and Germany? I have no idea, because with college ball, I don't see why they would. So now we don't see injuries. So now we get into the actual teams. So we're just going to do Thursday and Friday. We got Detroit 7.5, 46.5. They're an over team. They give up 23 if you got a bad quarterback. I don't know what you call Jordan Love. They score about 18 to 20 a game. Detroit gives up 23, which includes the good quarterbacks and the bad quarterbacks together. So where do we classify Love? Well, we look at the first game. So let's look at the first game. He didn't have Aaron Jones then. First game was 34-20 Detroit, a 54. So he did get 20 on him. Detroit's an over team regardless, Detroit will score a lot here. You can take Detroit minus 1.5. I don't see any way that Green Bay wins the game. And Detroit's not that good. Goff, even with 3 picks against the Bears, he still pulled it out. If I look at the Bears defense, it's a 26. It's pretty bad. Green Bay's is a 20. It's a lot better. 20 defense, Green Bay, 23 defense, Detroit. 7.5, Love against Goff. I mean, my first impression is to go with Detroit. 1.5. And I think it's an over 40 before I'd go under 52 with the Lions, because they will score, and their defense is so bad that even Love can score on them. So I don't know how good Love is. I mean, he's not. I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to say, oh, I'll get Love in 13.5. I don't like their coach. I don't like Love. I don't see a lot from Green Bay. So you either go 1.5 Detroit or you go over. Whatever you prefer. Washington, Dallas. Dallas 10.5. They're the A team. Give up 18. Score 30. Washington's a W. They just lost to the fucking Giants by 15 points. Although it says there was a crazy ending in the game, so maybe it was a 4 or 5 point game, and they got a pick 6 or something happened late. I don't know. So Washington, now that Philly won, Dallas is desperate now to catch Philly. They cannot lose this game. So when I look at it and analyze it, I go, Washington doesn't score a lot, and they have a 28 defense. So I got Dallas with Prescott against the 28 defense. I'm going to score, right? I'm not worried. It's not the Jet defense that I'm going to have problems with, or Denver's defense I'm going to have problems with. This is a 28 defense that even Danny DeVito didn't have problems with. So Dallas 31-17. Could be maybe. I don't, so Dallas, I think, wins by at least 10 points, maybe more. They rolled Carolina. Washington was Thurston Howell the third. I'm not going to bank on a 28 defense. I got Micah Parsons. I don't know if I have CeeDee Lamb, but I would imagine it's Thanksgiving he's going to play on it. He's only questionable. He's not doubtful. And even without him, I got other receivers. So I don't like Dak. I know I'm going to get 2 interceptions from him and a fumble and turnovers, but I think we'll get enough. So I kind of like Dallas here and also the over here. Although it's a little tricky because Washington might not score. You need 42. You might get 30 from Dallas and 10 from Washington. I think it's more apt. This is like the LSU game. LSU is going to score, but they didn't go over because I didn't get help from Georgia State. So I bet LSU going, well, they're going to beat them. They can't score. And I think it's similar here. I think Dallas is going to score, but I don't think Washington's going to help you. It could be tricky to get the over. It's 42, though. This is the problem. You look at college over, 65, 66. Oh, okay, we're taking USC over against Washington, and they score 52-42. And then you look at this, and you're like, well, will they get the 30 points? And it fucks with your mind after seeing these high scoring games in college. So I don't know. I think I might go Dallas more than the over, but either one's optionable. The Niners. Geno Smith's questionable. After the 3-game losing streak, they were tied with Seattle. Now they have a 1-game lead, but they play them. If they lose, now they're in trouble because they've lost to Seattle. And if you're tied and you lost to them, then really Seattle's in front. So I think the Niners still off of the 3-game losing streak, buried Jacksonville, buried Tampa, who's not as bad as these Carolinas and all these other teams. And now they got Seattle, who all I got to do is win by 1. I mean, it's just they're an A team. They give up 16. Seattle doesn't score with all their weapons, and they give up 22. So, again, I got the Niners -1. How do you not take that? Over under 43. I'm always scared in the Niner game to go over because their defense is just so strong. They can easily 23-7 them, cover the spread, and get a 30 because they just dominate you defensively. So I'm very careful with these strong defensive teams, Philadelphia, Baltimore, to really go over. It depends on what you got. So those are your 3 Thursday games. So Detroit and the over there, Dallas, I think, and I think Frisco. I think those are your 3 Thanksgiving plays. Friday, Miami, 9.5, 41.5. Miami's an over team. They don't have any defense. See, where Frisco's got this great defense, you're lucky to get first downs on them. Miami, you can, 20-13 against Oakland. It's because it was O'Connell. I mean, O'Connell lit him up for 13, right? The Jets with Boyle, they're just pathetic. I think you just take Miami minus 3.5, although they are going to have problems with this defense. Miami, I think this is actually an under. I don't even think you can take Miami. I think the Jets with Boyle, yeah, they probably won't. They'll score 7 at the most. Miami against this defense maybe puts up 17. So you're looking at maybe a 17-7 games at 24, over under 47. Yeah, I think you got to go under in this game because the Jets are the perfect under. They're Iowa, right? You can't score on them, and they got a terrible offense. And they are. I mean, Kane McNamara, the Michigan quarterback's there, gets hurt. They can't score 20 points in a game. And that's what the Jets are without Rodgers. And their defense, they're going to kill Miami defensively. Miami's going to be lucky to really score, too. This could be a 0-0 game. See, Miami's got a great offense unless they play a good defensive team. Then it doesn't show up. Tagovailoa, they'll sack the hell out of him. I don't know if he'll finish the game because I think the Jets are pissed. So this game, I think the only, at 7.5, I was interested in Miami. At 9.5, I'm not. I'm not laying 3.5. People look at the Miami record and think they're a good team. But look at them against good teams and good defenses. They don't show up. Well, how are you a good team if you get Philly went to KC against the 16 defense and beat them? Miami wouldn't. Well, Miami played KC 2 weeks ago in Germany, and they lost 21-14. They'll be lucky to get 14 on the Jets. Miami, the Jets won't score much, 6 points, whatever. That's all you're looking at. They'll be lucky to get 14 on the Jets. They only got 14 on KC. Very low-scoring game, but it's Miami, so you think they're going to score, and then you wonder why Tagovailoa has a bad day because they're going to blitz the shit out of him, and he can't read it. The play I saw was at the goal line, 4th and 1 or 2, 3rd or 4th quarter. I need it for the over. He throws 4th and 1. He doesn't hand the ball. First of all, what's with the shotgun snap, right? He doesn't even fake to the running back. They got 4 receivers. He throws a wide receiver screen that, how obvious was that on 4th and 1? And the receiver didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. I hate that play. Why are you running it? And then this is my point of Tagovailoa. He's not intelligent. Why doesn't he get out of the play? He can see the defense is waiting for it. It's obvious when you send 2 or 3 receivers out and they're going to block that it's going to be a wide receiver screen. So I got 3 defensive guys out there, which it should have been pretty easy to run on that, but Tagovailoa can't run. Probably shouldn't have been in the game. I'd probably have my Wildcat or a running back get the ball, not him. And they're not even close. I mean, they throw a pass to the wide receiver and he loses 3 yards on 4th and 1 at their 5. What is the point of running the play? What is the point of Tagovailoa not recognizing it's not going to work and changing the play or going to a post pattern? I'm still shocked the Lions ran the Dave Casper play. Obviously, they're listening. Hi, Lions. How you doing, boys? Because that's what they ran for the 2-point conversion. He sits down, and then he cuts across, and he's wide open. It's always wide open. Dave Casper was always wide open running that play. And nobody wants to run it now. It's the easiest play in the world. Anyway, that's what you have there. I won't go through everything yet. I can glance at the stats. New Orleans, Atlanta are both under teams. New Orleans a 20 defense, Atlanta a 22. You got Carr against Heineken. Pitt, Cincinnati, both under teams. Cincinnati's a real under team now. If they played the Jets, there wouldn't be a score. Pitt 1.5, 34.5. Pickett against whom? I don't know who Cincinnati's quarterback is. If it's the guy that came in, he can't even throw a completion, and neither can Pickett. I can't believe the spread's only 1.5. This is like, this could be the under of the year here. Carolina, Tennessee. Carolina Z team gives up 28. Tennessee's an under team, gives up 21. Tennessee's lane 4. I cannot trust Levis. Young's terrible. Over under 37. I think there's the only way to play this game's under. Tampa Bay, Indy, an over team gives up 25. Tampa Bay's an under team, gives up 20. Mayfield against Minshew. Tampa with the 20 defense. Indy at 25. This should be a high-scoring game. I think this is an over. Maybe you take Tampa an 8.5 if you feel you can trust Mayfield. New England and the Jets. Z team against Z team. I don't have many Z teams in this league, but there's 2 of them. 2 train wrecks. New England with the 24 defense. I thought Belichick was his great defensive coach. The Giants with the 26. Over under a 33.5. What is this? Is this Iowa? Iowa State? What the fuck? So, New England minus. I don't know why New England could favorite over anybody. Is it Zappe or Jones against Danny DeVito? All you can really go in this game. If Zappe plays, maybe. If it's Jones and DeVito, it's an under. Although, well, Washington, I would have thought would have been an under with the Giants too, and it went over. So you got to be careful with these crappy teams. You just don't know what you're getting. So I like the Pitt Cincinnati under makes sense. 2 kind of weak offenses with good defenses. These are terrible offenses with terrible defenses. You don't know what you're getting. Jacksonville, Houston, 2 E teams. Jacksonville gives up 20. Houston gives up 21. The reason they're not under teams is they score 24, 25 a game. So Jacksonville is kind of more of an over, and Houston is Houston's more of a they've been scoring a little bit too. They both give up 21. Lawrence against Stroud. I'm not sold on Jacksonville. I wouldn't play him as a favorite here. Houston, maybe. I'm not sold on Stroud. I mean, this is the problem. Stroud had no interceptions. Now he's got 4. So I'm not crazy about either quarterback to bet on. Maybe the game goes over because Jacksonville seems to score a lot. I can't. It's hard to bet these teams. Cleveland, Denver. There we go. Denver under team. Now I've calculated the under 22, taking 40 points away from the 70-point game with Miami. That's bullshit. So we make it, I'll make it a 30-point loss. All of a sudden they go from 26 to 22. And then you can see what they're doing. KC didn't get the 20. Last week, Minnesota, Dobbs got the 20. But against Cleveland, so it's DTR, our friend from UCLA, against Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. I like Denver here getting the 3.5. And under 36, so you go under 42, probably an under. You got Thompson Robinson threw 4 picks or 3 or 4 picks on Sunday, and he ain't going to do much better against Denver. I don't know. Watching that Minnesota game, I watched the last 10 minutes or so. They hit the hell out of Minnesota. Their defense looked fucking like San Francisco's. Yeah, this is definitely an under and definitely a Denver. The Rams in Arizona, I have no idea why the Rams are dog. Cooper Kupp's a little hurt. Stafford looks fine. Arizona gets Kyler Murray back. Big shit. The Rams with an under team with a 22 defense, and Arizona with a Z team and a 26 defense. Stafford's going to eat them for lunch. You get Stafford plus points, plus 7.5. Are you kidding me? I got to take the Rams. I got the Rams favored. They're getting a 1.5 from Arizona. What the fuck is wrong with that? So instead of trying to figure out Vegas is doing a scam on us and why are they just take what it is. It is what it is. You've got fucking the Rams with Stafford getting 7.5 against Arizona. Like, really? I get points from a Z team. And all you can do is just say thank you if you want to give it to me. Kansas City, Oakland, Kansas City 9.5. 16 defense. Looked good defensively against Philly. Oakland, an under team. O'Connell sucks. They give up 21. They played Miami. They got 13 on Miami. They're not scoring on Oakland, on KC. This is your free play. Go under 49.5. You're not going to see the score won't even hit 40 because Kansas City's struggling offensively. They're not scoring, but they have a strong defense. Oakland can't score with O'Connell, and they have a pretty strong defense. Holding Miami to 20. Granted, on the 4th down at the 5-yard line, they didn't go for the field goal. But they did that. Bobby Bow, good morning. The MVP, which MVP? If the Jets, Mahomes. If the Jets Bengals play, the over-under would be, it would be an Iowa game, like in the 20s. Sad part is it would actually go under, as it would go to overtime tied at 0. Then it would end up in a safety by Zach Wilson, and the Jets would lose. But he's not even playing. That's the kicker. Is Boyle is playing. Why in God's name is Boyle? Boyle was on the Lions last year, and he sucked. Now the Jets. What do the Jets think? Well, that was the Lions. That doesn't count. I don't know what they see in the guy that they think he's any good. That what they saw on the Lions, that doesn't make sense. Why aren't they, and the problem is they're kind of fucked because they got Aaron Rodgers, so they can't go trade for Kyle Trask. And what do they do in the draft? You get a chance for Penix or Bo Nix, what do? You got Rodgers. Oh, 2 of the MVP. Yeah, he looked really good against Oakland. Well, the problem at San Diego is not Kellen Moore. The offense isn't their problem. It's their defense, and their coach is terrible. That's the worst coach I've ever seen. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Let's go for it on 4. He thinks it's Canadian or something like, well, it's 4th down. We should just always go for it. I mean, what are you doing, fella? He won't learn because the problem is he doesn't make any of them. He doesn't know how to call plays. So not only let's go on 4th every time, and every time it's a turnover, but I don't make any of them. I haven't seen him make one yet. It cost him the playoff game. It cost him Kansas City. It should have cost him the Minnesota game. You give Minnesota the ball at the 20-yard line because you go for it on 4th and 2 at your own 20, and you don't get it. Now Minnesota's got the ball at the 20 down 4. You insane? He's done that a few times. This coach does not know what he's doing. He shouldn't be coaching. So this is a guy who just looks at the analytics and says, oh, I'm supposed to go 51% of the time I make it. Not at your own 20, idiot. You punt the ball. And the Oregon coach is just as bad. He doesn't know what he's doing. Maybe he knows how to defensive coach because he's putting in the Georgia defense there, but he does not know how to coach at all. I mean, he keeps the 4th down. Cost him the Washington game. Where else is it going to cost him? They're going to lose another game, or they won't make the playoffs because he didn't kick 2 field goals. Because I can't see Washington and Oregon getting in. Washington beat them, and they're undefeated. Washington's going ahead of Oregon, even though Oregon is probably the second best team to Georgia. And that idiot who dropped that perfect pass from Herbert on the last drive, that would have been a touchdown. Yeah, and you see last night's game, the guy dropped the pass on Mahomes at the 2-yard line, a 50-yard pass. He lays it right in there. What's his name? The guy with the 2 words from Green Bay, right in his hands. A couple minutes left in the game, and he drops it. if I'm Andy Reid, I'm like, okay, see you later. When you learn how to catch, you can come back. Right now, I need people that can actually catch a football to play wide receiver for me. All right. So then we have Buffalo and Philly. Buffalo and A-team gives up 17. Allen against Hurts. Philly just showed you Philly with the Madoff touchdown. It looks like he stopped, and then they push the pile or something. Like he stopped it first, then they pushed the pile. Now, if I'm the defense, why aren't I pushing the pile from my end? Because that's why it's working. It's not the beginning. It's then they push everything in. So therefore, your safeties and linebackers should be pushing the pile the other way, like in a tug of war or something. That's what the defense, if the defense would push first and push them back, then the push from Philadelphia wouldn't matter. So not sure what the hell's going on there, but anyway, so the Madoff team wins again. Buffalo, the A team, 17. Philly's the B team at 22. Philly laying 3.5, 47.5. Allen and Hurts. Philly at home. Do we trust Buffalo as the dog to Philly? Well, they have a 17 defense, I think, but Von Miller hasn't done shit yet. They're waiting for him to actually start playing. Philly off of Monday night with Kansas City. So there's going to be a little flat. Normally this would be Buffalo and 9.5. Take the dog with the A team. I'm not really. I got to check injuries on this game. I have a feeling I want to go with. I think I want to go over with the game. I don't know what Buffalo team's going to show up, but I know they're going to score. And I know Philly's going to score on Buffalo. I really don't have a doubt. It's 41.5 with these quarterbacks and these offenses. I think over is a good play. I'm really scared to take Philly, and I'm not scared to take Philly in 2.5, but I'm scared to take Buffalo in 9.5. I'm not sure that I can see Josh Allen folding like he does in a big game. Well, that's why KC's not scoring, is they have terrible receivers. That's their problem. All they got is Kelsey for Mahomes to throw to. He still gets open. Now, he overthrew him on a couple times yesterday. But he had a terrible game. He fumbled the ball that he had. He dropped another one. He fumbled at the 5-yard line. So KC should have scored more than one. Well, maybe not win, but they should have scored more. Baltimore, San Diego. Baltimore, the A team with the 16 defense. But they're like the Lions, but they're playing a real offensive team here. San Diego and over with the 24. I got to go over. Baltimore seems to be scoring a lot. I don't think they played a team with an offense like this. Burrow got knocked out. They were giving up. Burrow left. It was 10-7 Cincinnati in the second quarter. Cincinnati wins the game if Burrow plays. That means they're giving up 30 points to Joe Burrow. So this is Herbert. This is going to be high scoring too. Lamar, who knows what he's going to do in a big game. But Baltimore shut out Seattle like 37-3. So I'm a little bit leery of taking San Diego. You catch me once, so you're not going to catch me twice. I think it's an over. I don't think you're going to shut out San Diego at home. Sorry. And part of it is Baltimore has to travel to the West Coast. It's going to tire them out. In the last game, we got the Bears against Minnesota, 2 even teams, 26 defense. Chicago, 21, Minnesota. You got Fields against Dobbs, two MAC quarterbacks, basically. What are they doing in the pros? Jesus Christ. Fields had a decent game. They got 3 picks from the Lions. They still couldn't beat them. The defense was atrocious at the end. Dobbs couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Benched by Arizona, and he seems to be a superstar at Minnesota. I don't know. I didn't like the fake punt. I didn't like it all against Denver. It was 4th and 5 at their own 40, and the guy fake punts. Okay, dude, you've got to punt the ball. What if the guy doesn't make it? You lose the game. Why are you taking that risk? And there was no gain. I think maybe they kicked a field goal, but Denver, I think they went up 6, and then Russell Wilson went down the field and scored. But the problem is if they stop you, you're dead. Now, part of it was alignment, which shocked me that Denver was in a weak alignment, not looking for fake punts. The way these coaches are right now, as bad as these coaches are with all the fakes and the 4th downs, you got to be prepared. This is like the dumbest coaches I've ever seen. So, again, this Minnesota coach is handicapped. I don't know who's coaching the Bears. You get 3 interceptions and a fumble against the Lions, and you still lose because you let them go right down the field. There's no pressure. There's no blitz. I don't know what you're doing. I think this has to be an over. Fields was running around. And was it DJ Moore is looking good. Minnesota put up 20 on Denver. They'll put up 30 here. I mean, the Bears still with, their defense. I don't know if it's getting better or not. It looked better against Detroit for a while until the end of the game. You got to look good for 4 quarters, and the Lions then lit them up at the end. A good deep. They would not have done if they're down 12 to the Niners. They lose by 12. The Cowboys, Baltimore. If Lamar doesn't give them an interception, I think this has to be high scoring. Fields and Dobbs. Dobbs just kind of runs. I mean, he can't quarterback. Fields is the same way. They just run power sweeps. They just take the ball and run a power sweep. Then they wonder why they get injured. I don't know. Probably the worst defensive coordinators I've ever seen in my life. They just play this stupid zone. They play a zone, and then 2 receivers cross. I don't understand if it's a zone, why people on this side of the zone, so the receiver crosses, why are they crossing? If it's a zone, they should stay there. So is it man on man? And then a running back, I think it was the Minnesota game. The running back comes underneath, and the linebacker can't get there because he's picked. Really? This is the defense you're running on 3rd and 20. You're running this defense. Oh, my God. And you're not smart enough to figure out something like that. You're not smart enough to have somebody there for these crossing patterns. Are you fucking kidding me? And you know what? If you'd have just blitzed, it wouldn't matter. They wouldn't be able to do that. That's what I liked most about yesterday. Kansas City blitz, the first play of the game, Philadelphia nailed Mahomes. That I love. See, these are why these are the best teams. They blitz. They go after you. They don't we got to play a zone. What a bunch of shit. So I think this is an over. Clearly, you have the 2 worst coaches, defensive coordinators I've ever seen. I don't know what the fuck. So basically, Thanksgiving Day, you can go Detroit -1 or over 40. You can go Dallas -4.5. And I think the Niners -1 has got to be the play. And then Friday, you got to go under in the Jets game. I don't think they get the 20. I don't think Miami's not going to. You think the Jets aren't going to score? Miami's not going to score either. Against my defense, they're not scoring. Are you kidding? They put up 20 against Oakland. Great quarterbacks. We had O'Connell, and now they get Boyle. Yeah, Miami's a real good team. Wait till they play find me a real quarterback. All right, Mahomes, Burrow's out, Herbert, Russell Wilson. All of a sudden, he's looking pretty good, right? Purdy, maybe Lamar. I don't know. Hurts and Allen. I still question. Stafford. All of a sudden, Stafford looks good. DeVito. I mean, when you're looking at Mayfield as a good quarterback, you got problems. It's Purdy, maybe. Geno Smith's a little injured, but he'll play. Yeah, it's the worst. I mean, there's better quarterbacks in the Pac-10 than 90% of these teams. It's between Bo Nix, Caleb, and Penix. They'd be in the top 5 of the league and as a quarterback. It's unbelievable. What is wrong with this fucking league? It's the worst I've ever seen this league since 19. I was born in 59. Let's say I probably started watching when I was 4 or 5 years old. Jets defense has been bad lately, though, Professor. I had Jets and the teaser, and the Bills shredded them. Yeah, but it didn't go over. It didn't go over. It was 32-6, and the over-under was 39. You go under 45. What are you talking about? That was fine. You're looking at the game under. You're looking at the Jets under. Yeah, Buffalo put up 32. How many turnovers did Boyle and Wilson have? I'll bet you Buffalo doesn't get 30 points on Philly because they're actually going to blitz his ass. I don't even think it's bad. I think it's terrible. I mean, if it's on a scale of A to Z, I hate when my banana gets bruised. I mean, this league is just terrible. I mean, you got Danny DeVito and Zach Wilson and Pickett and Heineken and Boyle, Thurston Howell III, Love. I mean, you got guys that could not start in the Pac-10, okay? I don't think that the defense gives up on these games once they realize Zach Wilson is such a joke and can't give them help. That's very true, as I've stated. When the defense knows they have a chance, and this was like Tampa Bay said this with Tom Brady, well, we know Brady, so he can win it for us, and then they get really fired up. Now they got I'm sure Denver now with Russell Wilson. I mean, did you see the way they were hitting in the fourth quarter against Minnesota? They were killing people. This was like the best defense. It was like a Georgia defense Denver was playing. It was unbelievable. I think the defense would play better if Rodgers was starting, but Zach Wilson, well, that's of course. And he's not really that bad as the offensive coordinator. That is not taking Zach Wilson's strengths into consideration. He's running this vanilla Aaron Rodgers offense, but he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, and he doesn't know how to call an offense for Zach Wilson. He's a terrible offense. Look at him last year. He was Russell Wilson's guy, and everybody thought Russell Wilson should retire. Well, nobody says that now. Oh, he's got Sean Payton, and he looks like superstar now. So this is the difference you got to realize is they have a terrible offensive coordinator, but he's for Aaron Rodgers, and they can't get rid of him because they think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to come back. If not the end of the year, he'll come back next year. So I need his offensive coordinator. That's part of the deal of Aaron Rodgers coming. Well, exactly. Yep. Jack Morris was like the best I've seen. When Jack Morris had a chance to win, you couldn't beat him. But if he got down 5-0, he didn't care. It had to be like for the win. But if it was a meaningless game, let's say they needed it for the pennant, Jack Morris would shut you out. But if they're 5 games down and they're eliminated, he didn't care. That's the way the great ones are. I was watching Bobby Knight. Really good thing. If you get a chance. On Larry King. There's the general. This is 6 years ago. Wow, this is fall 2000. Larry King interviews Bobby Knight. And you know what he said? He said the best player for a team that he's ever seen is Michael Jordan in any sport. He said Michael Jordan makes the team better. The team respects him. He's a great team player. Like, you have to be a team player. He said he was the best team player I ever saw. I assume it was in basketball. They were talking about the 84 Olympics. He said, you had to coach Michael Jordan. What was that like? He said, that's no problem. You just put him out there and got out of his way. And then he explained that choking incident. He says it lasted for all of 1 second. He says, I honestly don't remember. I was probably trying to get through to the kid. He wasn't listening. And he says, I touched a lot of players. It's just, you're trying to like put your arm on them and say, hey, Jerry, you're not doing it right. Here's how you post up. Here's how you make a screen, pick and roll, whatever it was. The kid wasn't getting it, but he just happened to choke him as opposed to putting his hand on it. Says it lasted 1 second. I don't know what the big deal was. Yeah, they should just run him with options, et cetera, and not call plays for a quarterback like Rodgers because they are in different levels. So that's true. I thought you were going to pull out General Chow and you said, there goes the general. Nah, the other general. They probably named General Chow after him. But I was watching him. He was on, what was I watching? I was watching Jack Buck or something. Who's that guy? I think it's who does with Troy Aikman. And he had his show back a while ago, and John McEnroe was a guest. So I never liked McEnroe. I was always the Connors guy. He had McEnroe on, then the next guest was Bobby Knight. So I was watching that. And he says, okay, why'd you throw the chair? And Bobby's like, because he said, I was throwing the chair because there was an old lady on the other side of the court didn't have a chair. So Bobby's like, fuck you. He's obviously an INFJ, and he's like, I'm going to do what I want to do. What I found fascinating was he coached with Bill Parcells at the Navy, I think, Navy or the Army. Bill Parcells was a coach. He was a football coach. So he was with Bill Parcells. I thought that was good. And you can see they're in the same breed. They take control and they coach you, but that's what you want, somebody who's in control. You don't mind if they yell, if they communicate, and as long as they say to do this and you do it, you're okay with it. You hate the coach that doesn't say anything. You assume this and you don't do it, and then he's two-faced. So anyway, that's that. Talking to a lifeguard today at the pool. Talking about gold and silver. And it's the same problem with these young kids. I don't have any money. But he gets it. He understands that the dollar's worthless, and I need to buy gold and silver. And I said, that's what you got to do. I said, this is all worthless. I've got it down to a science. So what's happening is the rich people here who have dollars are too stupid to buy gold. The Keynesians who run the government, who are really the bankers, are too stupid to have gold, or they buy the gold. Most of them buy the gold. And right now you have a fight over it where the the Keynesians want to keep printing the money, thinking I'll just keep printing, and don't understand that they can destroy the currency by keep printing it. Then you got the Warren Buffets who sit there going, I'm going to hoard the money and I'll buy a house cheap, even though not realizing that the money won't have a value. When it blows up, it's gone. And then you got these idiots like, oh, it's not the dollar going, gold going up, it's the dollar going down, who Mark McGuire, who has no idea what he's talking about. I watched it again. There was somebody who said, this will never stop. And it's like, he doesn't understand. And Mark McGuire, being a broker, doesn't understand it either. He can't explain it. Very few people can explain it the way I can explain it. It's going to zero because you can't print it. The Keynesians, because I understand economics, sit there and think they can just keep printing the money, and don't think there's a problem with it. They don't get, oh, we'll just keep printing. We'll just keep printing. We got a money tree. We'll just keep printing it. It won't have an effect on the money. Meanwhile, nobody wants it. All these other countries don't want anything to do with the dollar because they're being manipulated by it or sanctioned by it. And so here come Russia and China to save the day. I assume they're the ones buying the gold cheap, keeping it cheap. And again, it's a dual thing. It's a philosophy that the people don't think. They think they'll just keep printing the money, and they just don't and then they don't understand they can't keep printing it. It's going to zero. They don't get that part of it. We'll just keep printing. And so we're sitting there going, you can't keep printing. And that's the war. Like, we're sitting there going, we're buying gold and silver because you can't just keep printing. You will make it go to zero, like it's done in the Roman Empire and Britain and France and Spain and every other place that had fiat currency not backed by gold and went to zero. It will go to zero. That's the bottom line, Mr. Stone Cold. It will. It has to. And yet because they're Keynesians, don't believe in that. They don't believe in gold. That's why the U.S. doesn't have any, and that's why Britain and Canada doesn't have any. But all the other central banks are buying it. So eventually people will realize it, or people just won't want the dollar, and they'll just eventually what's going to happen is everybody's just going to run to gold because there is no other option. There might be a BRICS dollar backed by gold, but they're buying gold, right? So that's really what's going to happen. And they're starting to pay for oil in gold. Saudi Arabia and Russia, you want their oil, you pay for it with gold. So as the demand for gold and everything else starts peaking, because as more people realize, and this will be not Americans, because the Americans are too stupid to realize, they just do whatever Joe Biden says. Oh, yeah, so Joe Biden, no, he should be president. He's 92 years old. Well, yeah, but he knows what he's doing. Look what he's doing. I don't know what the fuck, who says he's doing a good job. Who you asking? I'd like to talk to this guy. Yeah, Biden's doing a good job. Where? The border or the inflation? What part is good? So that's really what the issue is, and that's why I know it's frustrating to everybody. When's gold going up? It's frustrating when Mark McGuire says, well, it might go to 3,000, and the ring fence casino, whatever the fuck he says that nobody understands. So he does that shit on you, and you're like, he doesn't give you why do I say 50,000? I'm trying to get your attention. Do I think it's really going to go to 50,000? Absolutely. It's going to go past that. It's going to go to gold. Will be the commodity. It won't be priced in dollars. Dollars will go to zero, and gold will have its own price. And it'll buy, like I said, it'll buy a house that was valued at $500,000. So it's not even a real value because you've inflated the dollars. So if we go back to 1970, the $500,000 house is probably $50,000. But that's where the whole thing gets so unraveled, because you're comparing prices with the massive inflation we've had. So all you need to know is it doesn't matter if there's dollars or not for gold, the value will skyrocket because of that. So I tell you 50 because I'm trying to get you to listen and to know what's going to happen and what you should do. If I did a Mark McGuire and say, well, gold will go up. I don't know. I can't give a price. Nobody's interested. I can't get you into gold if I do that. You need to be in gold. That's why I bring up Attack on Wall Street and these other movies, because had the guy bought gold, he wouldn't have lost the 60,000. That's the fact. That's what you need to do. Why did I tell you to take Philly in 8.5 yesterday? I mean, clearly that was the bet. Casey's offense isn't good. We know Philly's very strong with the Madoff move, which they got a touchdown on. So it's a little bit for a fact, but it's really what I think. And I don't lie. I don't tell you it's that. The problem is the dollar will probably go out, so we might not see 50,000 on their way up from 20 and 30. It just might go to zero. I don't know how fast it's going to collapse. I wish I could talk to somebody from Rome and ask them, but they ended up falling apart. So that's the perfect example, right? I love that example. Well, and when they were in Rome, nobody thought they were going to go under. We're the Roman Empire. Nothing can happen to us. Anyway, so that's the point. And that's where Mark McGuire lacks, is he ring fences around, but he should say 50,000. He should say the price of gold is depressed because it's manipulated, it's price fixed. If we just get rid of the price fixing, this is where his problem is. If we got rid of the price fixing, gold would be 20, 30,000 an ounce. That's all he needs to do. But he's too stupid to do that, and he won't say that, so he loses credibility. I don't know if I'm going to watch him anymore. I think the only one I can watch now is Egon. And keep in mind, most of these guys I don't like because they're stockbrokers. Rick Rude is a credit analyst. Reichert is a Keynesian. He's a communist who works he's a lawyer. What the fuck does he know about it? Maloney is an idiot. He can't even read. Andy Scheckman runs a gold place, so he's trying to sell his gold and silver. He doesn't know anything. They're not economists, so they can't. It's like a non-football. It's like these women referees. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So Bobby can talk baseball, but if Bobby was never a professional bowler, he couldn't talk bowling. But he could say, I was a professional athlete, so therefore it works for everything, right? I was a good golfer. I can't talk tennis. So these guys are stockbrokers, and they're trying to talk economics. They can't. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So that's really the problem. Alligator, I don't know. He keeps saying, I've talked to Austrian economics. He was also a broker too. So he seems to know a little bit about economics, but I would go with Egon 1 and Alligator. People like him because he seems to know it, but then I catch him when he starts talking about price inflation. Then he's just proven that he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's why I say there's no such thing. That's why I show you the market prices everything. If this goes from 50 to 100, is that inflation? No, it's demand for the product. That's why I don't understand when they talk about gold. Like, gold's being suppressed, right? So if you just had free demand for it, it would be much, much higher. And it's not linked to the dollar. It's not linked to anything. It's just like the Canadian club. And we don't stack, we collect. This is not stacking. I'm not stacking this. I'm collecting this. I'm a collector. I collect silver and gold also. I'm not a stacker. I don't stack my cards. I collect them. So I'm not stacking gold. I hate that. It bothers me. We don't stack, we collect. But we're just waiting for a free market like the Montana card's 120 grand. That's all we're waiting for in gold. Let it go free market, like the Montana card. Why do you manipulate it? So we want the manipulation to end. Problem is the governments are also corrupt that they need money to print, put it in their pocket, and they can't print gold. That's really the whole problem with our scenario, is that the governments can't print gold, so they don't want it because they're all corrupt. And they can't do the Ponzi scheme with gold because they can't print it. Ponzi scheme only works with money. By the way, how about mindset, Professor? I like the lesson you were on yesterday about on how to be stoic and strong-minded. Oh, well, we can talk that. I was watching some of it on the bicycle today. Let me just talk college for tonight. Let me talk college Tuesday and then the Thursday game real quick, and we'll get to stoic. So we got Bowling Green 1.5, 53.5 to Western. Bowling Green's an E team, 25 defense. Western's an over team with 32 defense. I would expect a pretty high scoring game. What did Bowling Green do last week? Yeah, they played Toledo 32-31, so they scored a lot on Toledo. I think this is an over tonight. And then Eastern and Buffalo. Eastern's an under team with a 25 defense. Buffalo's a W team with a 28 defense. Over, under, Jesus Christ, 35.5. Buffalo -5. Let's see what happened last week. Eastern put up 30 on Akron, but Akron stinks. Buffalo lost to Miami of Ohio, has a pretty good defense, 10. Yeah, Eastern's a 25. So this is the biggest thing people don't realize. Against the strong defense, you don't score much, but against the weak defense, you score a lot. So you can't use it. Very difficult. So I think that 35 is a little bit low here. Eastern, again. Yeah, they scored 30. Granted, it was Akron. They still scored 30. So this has got to be an over. Buffalo, or maybe it's an Eastern play. Not sure. I'm not playing tonight. And then Thursday, we got Ole Miss against Old Mississippi State. Ole Miss, a B team who only scored 35 on Lou Monroe. I'm laying 31. They win 35-3. I couldn't believe that the 35 was the final score, but I got in by 1. I was proud to hit my 37 and my 31 teams. They both LSU and Ole Miss, and I won with both of them. Ole Miss B team with a 24, Mississippi State E team with a 28. They finally got their quarterback back, Rogers. Ole Miss has Dart. 24 defense, 28 defense. It depends. I think Mississippi State, did they get – no, that was Auburn that lost to my New Mexico State. Mississippi State, 41-20 against Southern Miss. I think this is an over game. 28 and a 24 defense is pretty weak. Ole Miss, we know, can score, and Old Mississippi State with their quarterback back can score. Auburn's the team that we're licking our lips with Alabama this week. Alabama 14-49. Christ, you gotta love Alabama. And they have to win, because if they lose, so let's set it up, right? All these one-loss teams, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, cannot lose, right? And so it makes it where they're going to win by 30, where you don't get that in the pros, because as long as you win your division, you could have 5, like the Lions could go 10-6 and still, if they win the division, they're fine. In the Big 12, real quickly, Oklahoma, Kansas State, Texas, and Oak State can all win the division. Depends. Texas is in the lead, but if they lose, they got to play. They started off Oklahoma, TCU Friday, and then Texas Tech. So if Texas loses to Texas Tech, Oklahoma loses to TCU. All of a sudden, we're all over Oak State and Kansas State on Saturday. So we got to keep that. The big injury to Florida State. Well, Graham Merce is also out, the Florida quarterback. So we have Florida State. We got Florida State 6.5, 49.5, and both the starting quarterbacks are out. Travis hurt the leg, he's out, and Graham Mertz broke his collarbone, so he's out. So they're both out. Although I'm curious how Florida stayed with Missouri if Graham Mertz broke his collarbone. So I got to look at the backup. So now it becomes a backup quarterback. So you got to look at the box score of last game to see. I think this turns this game into an under because they probably will run the ball, but we'll see. We'll talk more. What's today? Tuesday. We'll talk college tomorrow after I can digest this. I have everything in, so we know the Z teams and the A teams and the over and the unders, but I haven't really digested it yet, and I'm going to do that today. So no turkey for me, Bobby Bo. It's going to be roast and some ribs. I got a small package of beef ribs, and I got a roast. I also got 2 steaks. The New York strips are on sale for $8.99. I just bought 2 for the hell of it. Not for Thanksgiving, just for the hell of it. I was going to get salmon or the roast, and I chose the roast and the ribs. So there's no point in getting a turkey. Now, if the girls were here, I would do it. Right, Alana and Daria and her daughter, or Jenna and her son, then we'd have turkey. But I'm alone, and I don't want a 10-pound turkey to eat for the next 4 days. I'll be healthy, but I just assume have chicken breast. So Bobby Bo's asked for Stoic. Stoic is about mindset. It's not bad. I was stoic today. Now, there's this one girl that reminds me of this girl from Alabama, lifeguard. She sits there. I say hi to her, and it's like, hi. And then she looks away. She can't hold a conversation. Now, is she stoic? Is she incredibly introverted? I have no idea. All the other lifeguards I have a conversation with, we talk. I said, have a happy Thanksgiving when I walked out. And she kind of, looks away and says, oh, you too. She seems to be, I'd say 18, 19, 20 years old. She's there now. So anyway, she reminded me of the girl from Alabama, the strange one. So here's stoic. Do not trust these people. Then it goes, a lack of friends indicates it's good. It's not bad. It means you don't want the bullshit. So you have a few quality friends over a lot of bullshit friends. It gets into like ignored. Why? Here's why. Because you're so strong and commit that's what you do. Master disrespect. So somebody's disrespecting you. You ignore them. You say, fuck you. 10 stoic rules for life. You walk away. So some girl like Carmen wants your money. You tell her to fuck off. The key really is you don't need anybody. You pick your friends. You pick quality friends that have certain characteristics. You have certain characteristics. That's what you want. You want to be strong. You don't want to need people, but you want people, but you only want a certain quality of people. That's what it's all about. This is why we throw the Canadian off, because he comes in whining, give me a free pick, give me your lock. I don't want to pay for it. And I don't want those type of people in my class. This is not about, I'm not stupid. I know what you're doing. I know what a lot of these guys, they're here for my pick. I get that. That's why I'm very careful about if I want to give the pick out. That's why I don't mind talking to you about it, Bob, because you're not here for the free pick. But some of these guys, the Canadian was, he'd only, what's the lock? Give me the lock today. And then that was it. And he never wanted to pay me. He never wanted to tip me. It's like, well, what the fuck? You don't treat the goose that lays the golden egg like this. And I know maybe 5 people in the world can do football at this level, or gold for that matter. We're looking on YouTube. We can't find anybody that can really, except for Egon, maybe a little alligator out of 50 people that even know what the fuck they're talking about. And we can't find anybody that knows what they're talking about in football at my level. So I'm not stupid. Don't fuck with the goose laying the golden egg. And I'm getting a few people fucking with me, which I don't like, and I'm very much aware of it. Don't ever think I'm not aware of everything that goes on in my class. And those people know who I'm talking about. So that's what the Stoic, it's Marcus Aurelius who like built Rome. And he was always like, be careful of the liars or the people that say, good things about you. What do they really want? It's like girls. Somebody compliments them. Hi, how you doing? Oh, you just want to have sex with me. Well, no, some guys are like that, but not all guys are like that. But that's how women think. Oh, you just want to have sex with me. That's why you're saying hi. No, I mean, in the end of the day, we all want to be happy. But in my case, I want to make other people happy. I want to make you money because it's going to help you. I want you to buy gold because it's going to help you. It doesn't do anything for me, but that's the Stoic belief. I want to help people. I do a lot of things I don't realize, and then I read it and I go, yeah, that's what I do. That's why I say my goal is to make you money, because I want to make you money. That's the point of it. You want to bet. You can go to 100 different guys. You'll never win. That's why I tell you how hard it is. I'm predicting the future. You've got to know why you're picking the games, which is what I tell you. If you're going to bet a game, I want to know why. So don't give me picks out here unless you're telling me why you're picking a game. All right. And then if you can, I'm giving you 100 different variables to why you would pick a game. I'm giving it to you. Don't just come here and say, well, who do you like in this game? I don't want somebody to just have me do all the work, pick the game and say, here's the game. They go make a bet. They don't tip me. They don't buy my service. They're not going to be here long, because that's you should, if you're getting this type of advice, it ain't free, and it's not, and be very aware that I know that. So I know what's going on. I don't like it. You should take care of me. You don't have to buy the picks, but if I'm giving you locks, there's one guy that came on and says, well, what are the locks? Well, fuck you. I'm not giving you my locks. I'll give you a picker. I give you a free pick. There you go. Make money. You had San Francisco and Philadelphia. You could have made a fortune. Shit. I just gave you Thursday picks. You can go Detroit or Detroit over. You can go Dallas, and you can go Frisco. There you go. So anyway, that's kind of the point of what Stoic is. It's a mindset in that you're looking at certain things. You want to be honest, but you don't want to hang around people that are after your money or who aren't honest or who are kissing your ass. You don't want to be around those people. It warns, if they're kissing your ass, they're out for something else. They want your money. They want, if you have money. So be careful with that. I don't get that with Daria and Jenna. That's what I like about them. Carmen was very honest. It was very easy to spot. She wanted money. She'd buy $20 drinks. And I said, what the fuck are you doing? Money doesn't grow on trees. I don't want to buy. I'm not spending $20 on drinks. I need to spend it on other things. I don't have a money tree. So that's what and then she kept going on and on. I said, fuck you, and blocked her and said, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because all you want is my money. And it was very transparent. That's not what I get from Daria and Jenna. I help them with food because they're in the fucking war, but they're very careful about that. And Daria's, can I have money for this? Or Alana needs a new coat, her daughter, so yeah, how much is it? Yeah, 50. Oh, $50. Sure. Here you go. And they're in Russia. So I get what's going on there, but I never get, oh, can you buy me a house? Carmen asked me for a house. I don't know how much a house is in Romania with the FX. So maybe it's only 1,000 US dollars and 4,000 Romanian dollars, but I'm not buying you a house. Why would I buy you a house in Romania? What are you, crazy? So again, it's knowing the people. And so you're learning. So the key is to be stoic and learn the people, watch their personalities. All this is, like right here, it says 15 lessons to handle disrespect. Never be used by others. So these are very good. They're not long, but they tell you exactly what's going on. Walk away. She's pretty, but she's using you. She wants you for your money. Carmen wanted me for a green card. Oh, if we can get married, I can get a green card. And I'm like, I'm not marrying you for a green card. You can't just marry a Romanian here and then they just use you and then they leave you. You will go to jail because they will monitor you. This has to be a real marriage, not so you can get a green card. But again, that's what it says. Walk away. I walked away before seeing the video, but that's kind of what stoic is. It's very good. It's like the Romans, Marcus Aurelius and everything. So it makes good sense. You're not being mean to anybody. You're just taking care of yourself, but you're not smart enough to see all the angles. So you got to be careful. The woman who lies, the woman who deceives, your friends that deceive you, they just want your money or they want something from you. So that's really what a lot of it is to look at it so you can see now, because you don't mind if they're honest and truthful and they don't want stuff from you, then you want to be friends with them. That's what I get from Daria and Jenna. They don't want anything from me, just my friendship and my love, and that's it. So that's fine. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for Carmen because she's pretty, and then all she wants is my money and a green card. So I'm not looking for that. Some guys might just want the beauty and not care. That's what he's warning you about. Be careful of the girl who lies to you and cheats on you and takes your money. Why do you want to be with her? Well, she's pretty. Well, that's what he's warning you against. You can still get pretty girls who aren't like that. So you got to learn to not, you got to learn to love yourself, be yourself, be okay. If you don't have a lot of friends, be okay. If you, choose your friends wisely, don't be with these girls who are like that. So that's kind of, I gotta watch my left shoulder. It hurt last time because I sat funny. But that's what you got to do is be careful with that. So you're looking for signs of people that aren't really good that you just want to stay away from. So that's what that is. The gold and the silver, let's check that. I haven't checked it in a few days. I don't know. I mean, there's no reason to, because it's so today, gold is up. I'm not getting an accurate gold price. I'm getting it as of 8 o'clock, but November 21st. So it stops at 7 o'clock. Silver's at 23.85, but when I went back on here, I got 2022 up $22 today. But when I go into gold.org, I'm not getting a price after 7 o'clock. So we're making our move. Silver, as you can see, is 23.85. So the best thing to do here is go to eBay. See, eBay is very Austrian economics. It's just totally just supply demand. Whatever that goes for, it goes for, and that's what you're looking at. Here you go. Gold, 21.34. The Montana card still 125. Cougaran 2100, Maple Leaf 2100, and the Eagle 2133. So again, I don't know why you'd pay $33 more for the Eagle. It won't matter. An ounce of gold's an ounce of gold, but if you're in Russia, you probably can't use the gold. I asked Daria, I didn't get an answer. She said there's one bank that takes US dollars, but I don't know if that was gold or not. She probably has to go to the bank to cash it in, not to a thing. So who knows what she gets for it. But anyway, Joe still 125 and the Brady 4.5 million. I don't think it ever sells because it's the same card, been there for a while. I think he just rolls the auction. The Mantle 60,000. This Cougaran 2100, 2124. So we get the idea of gold. It was 19 something. It's now 2100. So get your gold pretty fucking early. All right, let's look at, silver we know didn't do much. So you can see it's starting to move. You can see the plan is to keep printing. It won't matter, but the debt is killing their little plan. So you can plan these things, but it doesn't mean, like, you're planning central bank digital currency, doesn't mean it's going to happen. You're planning on electric cars, doesn't mean people want them. You're planning on zero neutral by 2050. Well, I thought it was 2030. Do you think we know what's going to happen in 2050? It's only 2023 now. By 2050, it might be, we'll do it by 3,000 or 2,100. It's all bullshit. Understand that. Don't trust your government at all. How can you trust them? What have they ever been right with? They don't tell you the truth. They don't want to tell you. What are they going to tell you? We're printing all this money. We're doing a Bernie Madoff, or we're printing billions and trillions of dollars and putting it in our pocket. And then it gets covered up by the news anyway. So what do you want them to tell you? Yeah, we're printing it all. That's why the debt's $35 trillion. And this is why we're basically bankrupting the country so China and Russia can take over. You want them to tell you that? Well, I'm telling you that's what they're doing. Russia and China are behind it because they want to bankrupt the U.S. Who benefits? So you always be a critical thinker. Who benefits if we go out? Not us. Not me and Bobby. We don't benefit. How do we benefit? If we're in paper, you're all fucked. If you don't have any gold and silver and you got $50,000 in dollars, you're fucked. It's worthless. Maybe you can trade it in for the new currency, which is still, if it's not backed by gold, which I don't see how it can. We don't have any gold. Why don't we have gold now? If the whole Ponzi scheme is to keep the price of gold down, far under its real value, why don't we have gold now? It makes no fucking sense. But we don't. And it's not, and everybody's looking at the central bank. The central bank of Russia and China is not where the gold is. It's in the government's hands. It's in Putin's basement and swimming pool. It's in Xi's banks and everything. They got 35,000 or 32,000 tons Putin has. It's not central bank Russia. But yeah, when they say the central bank figures, well, the U.S. has the most. It's got 8,000 tons in the central bank unaudited. which is really zero. But then it'll say Russia's got 2,000 or something. And it's like, just blatant lies. I mean, they don't keep their money in the central bank. Neither does China. I hate to break it to you, but that's not where the gold is. The gold banks, the Goldman Sachs or whatever, JP Morgan, all these bullion banks, they're not central banks. They have gold. They're buying gold. They don't put it in central banks. So anyway, it's just a matter of you're going to wake up. The dollar's going to be collapsed. The price of gold is going to be 30, 40,000 an ounce, and you're going to be fucked. If you just have money, no, what are you're going to buy? What, 1 ounce of gold, and that's going to do what for you? You can't buy it at 40,000. You got to buy it at 2. That's the point. You've got to buy it now. You can't wait until it goes up. And when it goes up, we have no idea if it's going to go 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, or you wake up and it's at 20,000. We don't have any fucking idea. In my mind, it's going to 20. You're going to wake up and because when the shit hits the fan, it's 20 grand. It's not going to go to 3, then 5. Once it hits 3, it hits 5, it hits 10, just like that. Because then it'll be out that the dollar's worthless. Silver goes through the roof. Gold goes through the roof. I mean, it's how are you going to stop it? Okay, so silver's now $100 an ounce. How long before it hits 5? 20 minutes? How are you going to stop? Oh my God, it's not worth 25. They lied to us. It's really 100. That must mean my money's worthless. I better get out of money. And they start, and then here comes the panic. Oh my God, the Titanic's sinking. Where's the price go? Now the price goes through the roof because there's not enough supply to handle the demand. Now we're back at Austrian economics. If 10 people I have 1 bottle. If 10 people want it, I'm going to get a higher price than if nobody wants it or if 1 person wants it. If Bobby wants it, we maybe negotiate and I give it to him at 50. If there's 10 people that want it, then there's a bidding war and it goes 75, 100, 100 and a quarter, 200, 300. It goes up and up and up because I only have 1. So multiply this by gold and silver. And the difference is this is for drinking and it's gone. Gold and silver is life. It's to buy, it's to survive. And that is, you need it. It's a critical thing to have the gold and silver so you can buy food and clothing and pay your bills. So that's really the key to gold and silver. It's critical. Now they keep playing their little Madoff. Oh, gold's not worth anything. Silver's 23 an ounce. If you believe that, you're clueless. Man, 23 an ounce, no way. So I might buy some more silver for Christmas or something. But I feel we have till January, but I'm not sure. We see gold over 2,000. We see 2,100 for the eBay. Look out! It's starting. It takes a while for the boat to turn. It takes a while for the water to go into the Titanic and sink it. It doesn't just happen like that. So that's why I give you the Titanic. It gives you a picture frame of it's a big boat. It takes a while to turn. It hit the iceberg. It takes a while to sink. It's gold. There's a lot of money. It takes a while for the gold to, finally sink in. And that's where we're at now. So that's what you really have to understand. Then you be stoic about it and then people will be friendly with you for your gold and silver. So you got to be very careful with that and spot what's going on. So it's got to be friends that don't want your money that you can be friends with because it makes it difficult. And that's probably why real rich people probably don't have that many friends because they think everybody's after their money. So you got to be careful with that. So you got to be very smart choosing friends that you want, that are honest to you, that don't kiss your ass, that aren't after your money. That's what you got. Women are always after your money. You got to be very careful with that. I'll tell you, my ex-wife, we have a divorce. She steals some gold, some baseball cards. I was supposed to get all the baseball cards. I know she took some. She just took like a half ounce of gold from me, didn't discuss it with me, and a few other things she just stole. And you're like, this is my ex-wife, a CPA, supposed to be an honest person, and is very dishonest. I didn't steal anything. I took what was mine. There was some stuff that should have been mine that I didn't even get. She decided, I bought her a sapphire necklace. We're 1700 back in the 90s. That didn't come on the table. Why not? I bought it for you, but I bought gold for me. Why did you take the gold? So the gold you want to steal, but that you don't even want to bring up in the discussion. So in the long run, my Montana card hopefully gets to 100 grand, and my gold goes up, and off we go. So I get the last laugh, hopefully. I'll be with Daria, and I'll be with Jenna, so I get the last laugh. Would love to hear the mindset bit. Being strong-minded is so important now. Well, Nick, just I showed you which are the videos, so that's what you got to watch. I mean, I'm showing you, these are Stoics, right? So just, I mean, right here are the videos. Right here. It's right there. There's a, well, these aren't my liked, but, you know, these here. So, I mean, they're all right there on YouTube. I don't know where to play them because I don't, when I give you the economic ones, I'm giving you the certain points, right? Oh, Alligator said this, and what I want to impart on you is at minute 19. So I watch it and I write down, and then I play minute 19. On these Stoic ones, I'm not really saying, I don't want to play the whole 15 minutes, but I'm not marking down where it's the key one to do. I can start doing a little of that, but there's a bunch out there. Watch them. Most of them are very good. Some aren't, but most of them get to the point. It's basically it's the Roman Empire, how they ruled and why they were so successful, the successful part of it. So it's a lot of Marcus Aurelius. And it's basically just, you don't want to be, you know, like somebody comes up to me in the locker room and says, move over, I want to get to my locker. Instead of saying, fuck you, I don't say anything now. I just ignore them. I'm like, when I'm done, you'll get to your locker. I told you this yesterday, right? That's what I do. And why should I move? Who are you to move me? I'm here getting dressed. I'm putting on my shirt, my socks, my pants. Why? I'm here. Why am I supposed to just move over so you can get to your locker? You're interfering with me. Who are you? I'm not going to move. I don't know you. You're going to have to wait till I'm done. And it's just, he's an asshole and I can spot it. So I then act accordingly. And if the guy's real nice, I would move. Or if I know him, I would move. But most of the people aren't very nice there. So I try to help them with gold. They don't want to listen. I'm like, fuck you. Okay. But I'm very strong. Between the INFJ and this, I'm really, really strong right now. It's like, definitely you don't want to fuck with me right now. So, you know, I'm very confident and I just walk around like that. And, around in the hot tub and in the locker room and at the grocery store, I got my meat. I kind of joke around with the butcher because he's got to get the meat. So I will talk to him. I can't get the meat if I don't, but that's about it. But you look at the reaction of the people and you see if they're worth talking to or worth, I don't want weak people like that to be my friends. I want girls like Jenna and Daria, so that's why they're my girlfriends, because that's what I want. They're not after my money, or at least it's not apparent. Jenna used to be. When I first met her, she wanted a fur coat. I don't know how much it was. I think it was priced in rubles, so it was probably like $1,000. But I thought it was like like 50,000, but it was probably rubles, so it was probably 1,500. And I thought, oh, I don't have 50,000 for the coat, but it would have been nice to buy her for, but I didn't. It couldn't have been that expensive. It was in the Ukraine. Nobody could afford 70,000 for a fur coat, so it's probably 500-600. Because she kept looking at me like, well, why won't you buy it? But she's very strong, and I like her, and she's sincere. Like I said, I didn't text her yesterday, and she got all upset. Like, you always text me every day. Where you didn't text me today, and I'm like, good. I says, that's good. That means you really care for me. I didn't text you, just so I knew what you guys can know what I'm going through with when Daria doesn't text me for 5 days. Jenna lost her mind. I didn't text her yesterday. I did text her this morning, but when Daria doesn't text me for 5 days, I'm losing my mind. So anyway, you try to make yourself important and stoic. You try to show value. In other words, you don't text every day. You don't respond at the minute. You take your time. You maybe don't text for 2 days. And then the person appreciates you, realizes how important you are in their life, realizes you're an asset. Now, this is not just with women. It's with anybody. They should know you're an asset. You're not somebody to be fucked with. You're not somebody, you're not important. And the people that don't treat you important, you tell fuck off. You are an asset and important to people. And therefore, if that's not how then you don't respond to them, then they get a feel of how important. And if they don't care, then you stop talking to them. You don't need them in your life. You want people like Bobby in your life, right? A good guy who's honest and, good to talk to, good to learn from. That's what you want, are Bobbies in your life or me in your life. That's what you want to strive for. These other guys, like the idiot from Canada who buys houses for, a $700,000 house, which he probably lost it all because Canada's going through terrible inflation, a terrible recession. And it was all bought by the Chinese and the mafia, the ones buying the houses. Guys like that, we don't even, that's why I hide them on here so they can listen, but they can't type. That's why I do that, because I don't have time to waste with these people. These people are idiots. I don't mind if they listen to learn, but if you're going to bring that shit into my class, you're interfering with Nick and Bobby and Luke, who are here to learn, who you're getting off subject. So I don't like when we get off subject. I don't like when people give me their picks without background. Why do you like? I tease you, Bobby, with LSU because I know you like them, but that's not bad. But if you came in and you said Green Bay on Thursday, I'd say why? Oh, because the radio host on BetMGM likes them, right? Yeah. If you don't know why you're betting it, don't bring it in. This is not about your picks. This is about me analyzing, so you learn how to analyze. That's the point of the class. What year were you divorced? I want to say 2008, I believe. That's because I didn't know Professor been buying gold that long. I haven't been buying gold that long. I wish I would have. You're welcome, Bobby Bo. Well, the thing with me, when you have a friend like me, I'm honest. I'm not kissing your ass, and I never would. If you're not the right type for me, I just say fuck off. I don't kiss your ass. I like that you played baseball. So did I. I didn't play at your level, but we have a common interest. If you're a tennis player, unless you're Jimmy Connors, I probably wouldn't be impressed at all. I like golf, but I don't like tennis. So, yeah, if we had Jimmy Connors in class, I would be very happy. But I don't know about McEnroe. I probably would not like McEnroe. He was such a big baby with the crying. See, he's not stoic. If you're going to play tennis, you should be stoic and you understand that the calls aren't perfect. They're done by people, and just move on with the game. You're wasting so much energy with the arguing and acting like a 3-year-old. Who would want to be around you? So I would not want John McEnroe here, but I would want Jimmy Connors because he was a winner. He fought to win. That's what I would like. He went up to McEnroe, stuck his finger in his face, said, "Fuck you." That's the type of person I want to be around, not the crybabies. And that's what you learn in the Stoic. You choose what you choose personality traits of people that's what I want to be with, not somebody whining and that girl should give me money and all that shit. So that's what you want. Well, I bought gold, and this is 1995. I started, and I bought half ounces, and then I would buy my kids around their birthdays little quarter ouncers. This gold was 200, and I remember I was working at Hiram Walker, so I'm working here, and I worked from 94 to 97 here, and I remember telling management I buy my kids gold for their birthday, and they like, wow, what a great idea, and they started buying their kids gold for their birthdays in 1997. 07, 17, so it's been 26 years. No, well, see, that was the problem. My ex got us into baseball cards. Now, the ironic part is I have the Montana rookie, and I don't know if I'll get a 10 on it because it's a little off center, but otherwise it's a beautiful card. And my point is I might end up okay, even though we didn't buy gold, because for the $50 I bought the Montana rookie, and if it's worth $100,000, I wouldn't have done that good in gold. And then I can always sell it for gold. That'll be interesting how much gold that'll cost. So right now it's $125,000. Let's say it's a PSA 10. Okay. So your next question is going to be, dollar goes out. Now the card's worth $0. What's it worth in gold? 125,000. I'm going to probably want at least, I would probably want an ounce of gold for it. That'll be worth about 125. Yeah. Okay. An ounce of gold. That would be fair. Because at that time, the ounce of gold is going to be, you can't understand how much it's going to be worth because it's manipulated in dollars and it's been held down. And once the dollar goes out, and it's going out, you cannot print it and have this, that. And you can look at the Romans and you can look at the French with Napoleon and the English, World War I, and Spain, Amsterdam, all these countries that were number one and had gold and got rid of their gold. And now they're no longer number one. And who does that sound like? Oh, the U.S.? It's coming. There's nothing, you can't stop it. It's idiotic. It's incredibly stupid by these people, but it's exactly what's happening. So we understand. We can point to the Romans. We can point to the British. We can point to the French. We have examples of what happened. Where can you point to an example of this happened and they got rid of their gold, but they didn't collapse? Even in Money Heist, as I said the other day, the professor was able to put Spain and basically blackmail them, saying, we're showing that you don't have gold. And then all the markets collapsed because they didn't have collateral for their dollar, and the dollar went worthless. And even then he could bring in brass, gold painted brass as bricks and say, look, we've returned the gold, when they didn't. And then everybody goes, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. You have gold back. And that's how he got out of the bank, was saying, well, it's a secret. If you kill me, we're going to expose that you have brass. And the guy couldn't kill him because he couldn't take that risk because he could never get the gold from the professor. And that's the whole beauty of it. But that's the thing. We don't have gold here. And see, when you don't have gold, your economy collapses. It's just we can't prove it because they won't let us audit Fort Knox to see. For them to open up Fort Knox and you're expecting 8,000 tons of it, and you open it and there's nothing there, right? And once you see that, then everything collapses. That's why they can't show it, because if they do, then it proves they don't have anything. Money Heist. So we're buying the real gold, not the brass painted gold. Although I do want to buy brass and put it in a bag, and then if anything ever happens, you're going to steal my brass, not my gold. So I do like that part of it. And I can probably get brass pretty cheap. Maybe I'll buy that for myself for Christmas. But yeah, it's I keep telling Jenna she needs money for this and that. So just wait. If you have to, just trade in one of your gold things and get something for it. And the biggest thing, the most important about buying gold and silver, if you need the money, you go to the coin store, and it's the most liquid thing in the world. Since they sold it to me, they'll look at it, they'll weigh it or put it on their thing, and then, okay, and they know me, so they would, here's your $2,000. Thank you very much for playing. And so I have no problem that it's that, but the risk you're taking if you own the dollar is incredibly, it's going to zero. It's not maybe, it is. So if you own the dollar and it goes to zero, you're fucked. But if you bought gold with it, the gold can't go to zero. You can't print it. That's why the governments hate it, because they can't be corrupt with it, and they can't print it. They can print the dollars and think they're getting away with it. So they're like little kids, they ate the candy or the cookies, and they got chocolate all over their faces, and they're like trying to get away with it. Well, we didn't eat the cookies or the candy. Or the people that get diabetes. Well, you're eating sugar. It's pretty obvious. You've got a stomach out to here, and when you do that, you get diabetes, and then a lot of bad things happen to you. So it's pretty obvious that that's what you did, and that's what's happening now. They're printing the dollars, and it goes to zero. There is a consequence, just like eating sweets. There's a consequence for doing what you're doing with the dollars, and it's very obvious. And the biggest thing is the 35 trillion in debt, and you're fucked. You can't have 35 trillion in debt with gold. You can't have any debt with gold because you can't. It's there. You can't print it. It's that. So that's why I don't like when they say counterparty risk. Counterparty risk. What the fuck are you saying? Say it in English. It means you cannot print gold and silver. It's only what comes out of the ground. Once they're in coins and they're verified, that's it. There can't be any more. That's what they are trying to say, but they don't know how to speak English. Alligator and Mark McGuire, they can say counterparty risk. And this is where I get off of these idiots, the other idiots that I talk about. They'll hear the word counterparty risk. They don't know what it is, and they'll just say, well, it's got no counterparty risk. Yeah, because they can't print it, you idiots. That's why it's hard to listen to these guys, because they're so stupid. But most people don't know they're stupid. I know they're stupid. Most people don't. That's the difference. So I know what's going on. I'm watching the game, and I have full closure of what's going on. And most people, don't have a clue. Oh, I got money. The government says I got money. I'm okay. Oh, the banks will be okay. Oh, okay. That's why would you hold your money? Why would you hold your money? And then why would you hold it in the bank and then wonder why you're broke? Okay. Yeah. I ate 12 chocolate cakes. I wonder why I'm seeing, my arms are falling off from my blood pressure being 1,000 and my sugar level being through the roof. That's what happens. So just be smart. At worst case, you buy the gold and silver. It doesn't go anywhere, even though it has to. And you just go back to the coin store and give them the money, and you get your money back. At worst case, you're buying something you can't lose, right? You can't lose. Gold and silver cannot go down. It'll be because you've got the BRICS and the Russians coming out with gold-backed currency. That's got to raise the price of gold. The demand for gold is very high. High demand means a high price. It doesn't, the price will go to zero. Price can't go to zero. And if it goes to zero here, because these idiots are going to do that, we'll go fly to Switzerland and we'll get $5,000 an ounce for it. But you got to see everything's priced in dollars, and FX is the exchange, the foreign exchange rate is just bullshit too. Once all that blows up, and all these countries want it to blow up, they're sick and tired of, what do you mean I'm Switzerland and I want to buy a euro? I got to buy $1 to buy a euro? I can't use my Swiss franc? That's how corrupt and stupid this whole thing is. So nobody wants the dollar. So therefore they go and they get out of the dollar, and then the dollar's worthless. Nobody wants it. It's worthless. I got one. I don't want it. You're going bankrupt. Who wants the treasury? You're never going to pay me back. You've got $35 trillion in debt. How the hell are you going to pay anybody back? So the gold price has to go up. It has to, and silver will go right along with it. So, I mean, it's just, soon, very soon. And you can see it's getting closer and closer. The longer Biden's in, the sooner it gets, because they're controlled by the Chinese and the Russians, control Biden, and therefore they want the U.S. to collapse. Biden doesn't care. Give me the money. He's not even a president. I don't know what you would call him, a puppet. I mean, he makes that makes puppets look bad. Anyway, don't trust him. Don't trust the government. Just, I'm like, as soon as I can move to Switzerland, I'm moving, or maybe Hungary. Europe seems to be getting better. And then I saw that thing on the Europe central banks buying gold to get a gold-backed currency. Well, if Europe has a gold-backed currency, just go to anywhere. Go to Austria, go to Germany, go to Switzerland, go to France, go to Italy, wherever you want to go. It's safe and secure because their dollars are backed by gold. You can't get fucked. And that's where I would go. So that's it. So the more gold you can buy now, then you can walk into Italy going, I'm going to buy that house. Next to George Clooney. Yeah. George, I'm going to buy your house. Here's an ounce of gold for your house. And since you're an actor, you're a moron, and you don't have gold, the paper's worthless. Your house is worthless in dollars. This is what people don't get. Your house will be worthless because anything priced in dollars will be worthless because the dollar will be worthless. So once the dollar goes out, it has a zero value. Your house, anything priced in dollars, goes to zero. That's it. Then it comes up with, if gold's the new medium of exchange, then the house becomes worth 1 or 2 ounces of gold. So you've got a new value for your house. It's now in gold. But you better get gold, right? So when Luke says, how much do I need? It's as much as you can afford, baby. It's get as much, because you're gonna have some great values. Spending $2,000 on a house and buying a $500,000 house in the south of France or in Italy or in Germany, Switzerland. You live next to Egon. So if you have more ounces, you got, more things to buy, your silver. So it's as much as you can buy. You've got to look ahead, right? It's like I kept betting Philadelphia, as many teasers as I can put them in. I had them with Cal. I had a teaser Cal, Philly, and Denver with Philly. And, it was like as many as all I could eat teasers with Philly, because I knew that 9.8.5 was gold. I knew that. I probably should have locked Frisco with Philly, but I didn't. And I was kind of getting superstitious. Like I keep locking in, I keep missing the second game in the pros. So I didn't lock anything on purpose, and everything won but the Miami over. So I was pretty happy. But that's where we're headed. And we're headed there. Yeah. Just like Michigan's playing Ohio State Saturday, we're headed there. So keep that in mind. And yes, it's a strange thing. See, we're fighting the U.S. government, who don't have any gold, and they want to keep the value of the dollar. So think about it. You have $5 million. Well, let's say you're Warren Buffett and you got $2 billion in U.S. dollars. You don't want the value of it to go to zero. You're not smart enough to buy gold with it. You're smarter than everybody going, I'm going to hold on to my dollar and buy things cheap. Won't work this time. So instead of buying $2 billion worth of gold and then getting the gold to go up 100 times in value, you're holding on to dollars. You're an idiot. This is why I always think he's an idiot. If you don't buy gold, you don't know what you're doing, because it's the surest bet with zero risk and a huge return on investment like you'll never, ever get a chance to get ever again in life. It's the surest lock you can play, and you have no risk. It can't go to zero. It's a beautiful stock. It's not like buying Apple and then Apple drops in price because nobody wants the iPhone, because nobody can afford it. So therefore, the stock could go down, not gold. Gold can't go down. So that's really what's happening. And just look out, again, you have no risk. So that's really what you're trying to do. And that's what you look for in everything, is the no risk. So the people you talk with, the Stoics, you get understanding the Stoic personalities. You want good, honest people that are your friends because they like you, not because you've got money or, certain things. Then that's what but that's what you got with gold. You've got this thing with no risk and a huge return. I'm buying it. And this is a good friend, and that's who I want to hang around with, not a whiny guy like McEnroe. I want to hang around with Connors. I don't want to hang around with McEnroe. He's a crybaby. He is. He's a crybaby. What are you going to say? Okay, we've seen you cry to the linesman enough. Fuck off already. It's old. Been there, done that. Don't need to see it anymore. The point, whether it hit the line or didn't hit the line, or the dust came up, or the this did that, and the euro did that, we don't care. Just move on to the next point. It doesn't matter. He called it out. It's out. Unless we're doing an instant replay like in the NFL. How many plays were fucked when the receiver was really inbounds and called out, or vice versa, or they called it a catch and it wasn't, it hit the ground? There was the Super Bowl game, right? The John Mackey double hit, and then there was the Miami-Oakland 74 game. Stabler throws the long pass. Branch, it's underthrown, goes for it. Looks like he trapped it. Gets up, runs for a touchdown. No instant replay. They gave him a touchdown. What did a touchdown? Looked like he trapped it. It looked like it went between his arms, but you couldn't tell. And then he gets up and runs for a touchdown. We're the Miami guys where I have no idea. But that's the point. It's they gave him the touchdown, and it doesn't matter if it was or if he trapped it or not. They got the touchdown, and that's the key point of it. It's the call and move on, right? So that's really what you look at, and so you don't want to be around whiners. You don't want to be around liars. You don't want to be around people that are constantly asking you for money. Otherwise they don't talk to you. So they either, I need money, like Kenzie, I need money, and then they don't talk to you, or they won't meet you without the money. I don't want to be friends with her anyway. Then, if that's how she is, then I don't need to be. There's no point. I don't even know who you are. You won't call me. What kind of friend doesn't call me? I don't want to be friends with somebody that doesn't call, doesn't communicate, doesn't talk to me. Yeah, she came on here if it was really her, but I don't know. Really, really strange, but that's okay. But that's why, I got Jenna and I got Daria. That's why I got them. They're true. They're what I want. It's a good friend for me. I don't mind helping them out because they're sincere and they're honest, and that's all you can have. I mean, you got to be with somebody, right? So, yeah. Anyway, that's what's happening. So, again, pro football Thursday. So we got tonight's game, Bowling Green Western. Bowling Green 1.5, 53.5, and then Eastern Buffalo 5, 35.5. Seems very low. As us, there's snow in Buffalo. You have to check the weather. And then Thursday we got Detroit at home, 7.5, 46.5 to Green Bay with Jordan Love. Good luck there. Washington, Dallas 10.5, 48.5. Howell and Prescott. Frisco 7 and over Seattle 43.5. Purdy against Geno Smith, who is questionable, hurt his elbow or something. So that's all you need for Seattle, right? You got Frisco and you got the guys banged up a little bit. So again, Frisco needs it. Philly doesn't need the game. Buffalo needs the game. Philly doesn't. Baltimore, they're, I think, the 1 seed now. San Diego needs the game. Minnesota's been hot. Denver's been hot. Look for Kansas City. You talk about Iowa. Kansas City's Iowa now. They can't score, and they got this great defense. Even with Mahomes, they're not scoring. Now he threw an interception in the end zone, and Kelsey fumbled at the 5, so it's not like they're not driving down. Jacksonville, Houston, we're still trying to figure out. New England's favored over. I honestly don't think they could beat the Army or the Navy if they played them as bad as New England is. Indy, Tampa. Tampa needs to get. Well, I think they both need the game. Tampa does for their division. Carolina, Tennessee. Both teams suck. Pitt, Cincy. Pitt needs the game. They both need it, but there's no Burrow, and we're trying to figure out who is Cincinnati's quarterback. Atlanta, New Orleans. Both teams need it. It's a playoff game. Jets in Miami. Miami. Well, with Buffalo winning, it's close. They need the game. The Jets aren't going to do anything with this guy. I mean, why would you even have Boyle on your roster? Now, granted, you have Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, the backup. Why is Zach Wilson your backup if he's not this good? He was very good at BYU, so I'm very surprised that he's not, that they're not running what they need to do. If I'm the OC or the head coach, I'm calling up the BYU LT and I'm saying, okay, what does he like? What style of offense? Because he was very good in college that we need to run. But you've got an offensive coordinator, this guy Hackett, who doesn't understand anything. He's a terrible offensive coordinator. He had Russell Wilson. He made him look like shit. Now he's got Sean Payton back, and Russell Wilson looks like a superstar again. Wasn't Russell Wilson, was it? And then Hackett's here fucking around. So only Aaron Rodgers understands that. And he didn't even understand the play he got hurt on. He said, what the hell are we running this play for? So Hackett got Rodgers killed, and now he's terrible. Anyway, that's what we've got. So happy Thanksgiving Thursday. I'll do a normal show tomorrow. Thursday, I think I'll do like 10 to noon, and then we'll just watch the games, cook our turkeys. And like I said, I'm having a roast and some beef for, well, the little short ribs. So I just got a couple, and that'll be Thanksgiving, and some salad and veggies, popcorn, and I got a pumpkin pie. See, now here, Bobby, I got a pumpkin pie. It's one of those little 8-ounces. And I'll try to have 4 pieces or 3 pieces Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I don't eat the whole fucking pie on Thursday, because that's why I don't like to eat sweets. And then I got to be careful with them. So that's where you're at. About the divorce, I never should have married the girl. The girl was not my type. She wasn't like Daria or Alina or Jenna, and should never have married her. But it's at a point where you're kind of alone and you want to be with somebody, and she happened to be there, but it was not like what I have now. But I had to learn. I couldn't get to where I am now if I didn't go through that, and unfortunately, but we all make mistakes, and it's how you recover from the mistakes. And you just get up and keep going. It's like I pick a lock and it loses. I don't quit. I just go to the next one. It's amazing how many people quit. Well, if you have the foundation that I have, and I know how to pick the games, I just go to the next game. And that's all it is. So I think that's it. 2:15. So we'll get in more into Stoic. I'll have to watch some more. Anyway, there's your football for Thursday, Friday, Miami and the Jets, and then tonight's game, Bowling Green Western. I think it's an over. And then Eastern Buffalo, I don't know. It may be snow. That's an awfully low 35, and it wouldn't surprise me to have snow in Buffalo. So we have to check that out. But even if it's snow, unless it's cold and windy, it doesn't really matter. And then we got all our rivalries going, which we'll talk about tomorrow in college. And we'll check our injuries. But, yeah, a lot of good Florida State, both quarterbacks are out. Georgia Tech. Brock Bowers is back. Look out. And all these rivalries. Ohio State, Michigan. So Ohio State's your free play with the Kansas City Oakland under, which I liked before the game yesterday, and I like it more now. And I might also like Kansas City because they're coming off a loss to Oakland, who's not a very good team. So we will see. All right, Stoic, we'll get into more. Gold, we checked. We understand it's a war between the Madoff government, the U.S., and the Brits, who want to keep the dollar going because they are corrupt and they can steal it, versus the gold people who say, well, you can't do anything with gold. You can't copy it and print it. So you can print the dollar, which is what they're doing, and basically stealing it. Basically a Ponzi scheme where you can't do that with gold. You can't print gold. So that's why the governments don't like gold, and then they keep the price down so you think it doesn't have a value. And you're stuck playing on the Titanic instead of getting off the Titanic and getting into gold. And what I'm saying is it's so cheap now and it's about to go through the roof to buy it, and you don't have any risk at worst case. So people don't understand. It's not going back to 500 or 1,000. No, it's not even 2,000. It should be 10 right now. So the 2,000 you're seeing is an illusion. They're pricing it. They're pushing the price down with the derivatives, which if they don't have physical gold with it, they can't even do anymore. So the rules are changing, and the BRICS countries want gold-backed currency, which makes the demand for gold go up, which makes the price for gold go up. So you have no risk. It's not like it's going down to 500 or 1,000. Where can silver go? This price is a joke. I would just back up my car and empty my bank and buy as much silver as I can, and you'll live a nice, free life very soon. So it's going to go up soon, but there is fight from the governments who want to keep printing because they're all corrupt, and they want to keep printing the gold, and they want to keep printing the dollars, and they can't print the gold and silver, and they don't want the price to go up, and then everybody will realize gold and silver. But meanwhile, the Montana rookie card's $125,000. Well, wait a minute. Gold's worth $2,000, and the Montana rookie card's worth $125. What's wrong with that picture? More demand for gold than the Joe Montana rookie card. Hate to say it, but you got to be kidding me. Anyway, so that's what we're at. So I will see you tomorrow at about 1 o'clock-ish. Again, I've been waking up a little later. I've been staying up a little later. I never did hear from that law firm for that interview. I thought it was 6:30, 6:45. I'm waiting, and I don't know. They never called. And I looked at the email to call them. I couldn't find it. So I thought I said, yeah, I'll interview with you. Must have accidentally got it deleted, but I couldn't call them to say, here I am. So anyway, that's where we're at. So have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Just be smart and be stoic. Be very aware of what's going on. Don't get with liars or phony friends or phony girls or phony guys. Just be smart and be with people that you want to be with. And by being stoic, you're kind of more silent and more very people look at you you're very confident. You draw people to you. People want to be around a confident person who's not Blair, who's not John McEnroe. So people will understand that, and you'll draw who you want. So anyway, I'm going to let you go, I think, unless there's anything else. I'll give you a minute if you have any questions or comments. Otherwise, your free pick, Ohio State, and your free pick is the Kansas City Oakland under 49.5. All right, everybody, www.teaserking.com. You can get me there, get my email, and off we go. All right, have a nice day. Good luck, and I will talk to you tomorrow about the same time. All right, take care, everybody.